Alright, hello everyone. Today I am here by my lonesome. So we're going to talk about chapter 252 a bit. I know I didn't make a spoiler review for this one, apologies, but really, the way spoilers come out these days, I kind of just feel like talking about the actual chapters because the full translations come out like a day after. So that's what we're doing. So first of all, for all whoever's in here, let's put out a poll. Was this chapter a banger? I think, even though this is a setup chapter, I think this is one of the best we've had in a while. And it's kind of incredible how much information we actually got in this chapter for it being a setup chapter. So I'm curious to see what other people think. Yeah, these people like this one a lot. I mean, we get Maki versus Sukuna. The box reveal is probably coming next week. Let's see. This chapter confirmed Yuta is an insane barrier prodigy. Targets certain people with sure hit, changing the coordinates. Yeah, I think that's really interesting that we see Yuta in this chapter, which Hikari did a little bit against Kashimo. I'll actually see if I can find that. That he moved the coordinates of the barrier for them to have an easier sneak attack. And if you're unaware, TCB has put out the official translations now, or not the official translations, but the beyond leaked translations. In this chapter, I think with the full translations, this chapter is pretty heat, to say the least. Kusakabe, yeah, Kusakabe was like kind of just chilling outside the barrier, wasn't he? We got Kusakabe panels, best chapter in months. Hey Josh, what's up? And also, I agree. Kusakabe is definitely one of the a quick growing favorite in the community. I'll leave that poll out here. Now, Sukuna at the end, I think the big elephant in the room here is that Sukuna is probably going to pop off next chapter. That's what a lot of people were expecting, but I can't say I'm particularly shocked that Sukuna is going to open up the box next chapter. Most likely the box, even if it's something else, but let's be real. It's like 90% likely to be the box. Like, what else would it be? And the payoff for that's gotta be heat, because if the payoff for the box is bad, that's like one of the last major power-up reveals to be had in this series. Everyone else is pretty much good to go, except for what, Yuji? Yuji and maybe Megumi if he comes back. Your goat Kusakabe is scared to fight. Well, yeah. I mean, that's why he's my goat, though. I've read TCB. Yeah, I'm not covering leaks too much anymore. I'm not as interested in, like, I can wait a day to just read a chapter now. I mean, I'll look at them. I know what happens, but I'm not just gonna sit there and dive in, like, do a full deep dive into like half-baked translations. Maybe I'll do some streams for them though. Who is going to face the full wrath of Sukuna? Yuji and Maki? I mean, it looks like Maki's gonna eat it first, if I'm being honest. This chapter also confirmed that Gojo either could not see the slashes, but if he could barely perceive it. That seems to be the case, is that these slashes are like, they're basically magic slashes. That's kind of what it feels like. And there are a lot of things in Jujutsu where it's like, especially with the brain, when the characters are like, oh, healing your brain isn't the same as healing flesh and blood. It's like, okay, so Jujutsu in relation to the brain is basically magic. So, like, trying to tie real-world things to it, like, oh, if you heal your body, you should heal your brain. There's something else to it, which I think is kind of interesting. It's kind of hard if you're, like, a power scaler and you're trying to, like, quantify, oh, what does it take to heal your brain? We don't really know, but I still think it's a pretty good one. A live reaction to leaks would be fun. Yeah, I'll probably start doing those, because the way leaks are releasing now, or coming out, it's like a day before full translations come out. It's not the same. 2 days doesn't sound like a lot. But by the time, I'm a slow ass when it comes to making a video anyways. So by the time I come out with my video, the full translations are usually out. Next chapter, Sukuna backstory. Maybe. How Yuta moved his domain location. This is something, This is something we have seen before. Actually, with our boy Hikari. And it was very quickly glossed over. And I will pull up the chapter here. I'm going to hunt for this one. Hikari was like, what, chapter 190 something? Yeah. when you move, you can move your domain coordinates. Like, while you're in there, you can move the coordinates of your domain, and Hikari did this to Kashimo to dump him into the water. And let's see if we can find there. There we go. Perfect, perfect. That was quick. Let me just get this on the stream. Yeah, I know. I was surprised they ever brought it back, to be honest. A lot of people thought we were never going to see it. Will Yuji be the villain in the end? I doubt Yuji will be the villain. That doesn't sound like a Jujutsu Kaisen thing. Here, let's post this in. If I can actually get it here. Here. Hold on, we're buffering. 1 second, guys. Let me get this up about the coordinates we've seen in this chapter. Okay. The fever of battle kind of hints at Fuga, at fire. Yeah, it does hint at fire. I wonder if there's more to it. It's got to be, like, whatever it is, it has to be good, because there's a lot writing on, like, I mean, just... What's the word for it? There's a lot of contextualization that is required by Sukuna for any of, like, the statements around him holding back to make sense. And at this point, the narrator in Jujutsu Kaisen, what a fraud. What an absolute liar. Unreliable narrator. Here we go. There. You see here, Kashimo says to Hikari that he moved the domain coordinates, which is what Yuta did, which is pretty clever. Now, the range of moving your coordinates, we don't actually know. It was in quotes too, so it must mean something. I mean, it could just be them emboldening, like, the idea of, like, oh, like, the height of tension, Sukuna is finally feeling the fever of battle to fight again. Or it could be, like, literal flames. It's kind of hard to tell with Gege Akutame. Yeah, the narrator is too OP. Yeah, the narrator is, like, smoking the good stuff. Let's see. Do you think Yuji will use the Tengen monster to eliminate cursed energy somehow? I do hope. Actually, that's a great point, Zachariah. That, the end of Jujutsu Kaisen, removing cursed energy, that seems to be the end goal. Like, if you're a character like Yuji, this endless battle against cursed spirits, it seems like the biggest pain in the ass here really is cursed energy. Yuta is alive. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, actually. But good question, Zachariah. I do think cursed energy needs to be removed at the end of the series. But, so Yuta's alive. And he's not looking too good. He kind of got taken away like he's playing Monster Hunter, where they, like, carted off our boy. And I thought he was going to die at first, but Yuta is a little too important to kill still. But the big thing here is all these characters are getting carted off constantly. And with them being carted off like this, it makes you think, like, they're all going to come back. Like, there are quite a few ways the story could go now. And, I'm not a prophet of Jujutsu Kaisen. I just like the series like all of you. But if you want my opinion on where I think the story might go next, it's a hard one, but the overall would be they are setting up that Megumi is going to be saved by Yuji. That is certainly set up twice now. We see that he's back. We see that Yuji's like, I'm not giving up on you. Sukuna is about to pop off. And it's kind of ridiculous to think he's going to pop off like this late into the fight. But their only chance might be pulling out Megumi. That's definitely an option they're setting up. Like, defeating Sukuna conventionally might be impossible. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what he actually has. I just want to say I love your streams. It's a must listen whenever a chapter drops. Oh, thank you very much, Andre. It means a lot. I really want the heavy hitters to fight together. Yeah, me too. I am with you on that one, Five. I really think that if Yuta's going to be, like, the quote-unquote head honcho, I know it was like a mistranslation, but should have them fight together, right? Higuruma and Yuta will come back and cook. Yeah, them pulling, whatever they're doing, whatever they did to cheat and become this strong, something weird is happening there. And with Sukuna about to pop off, it does make me wonder if Gege wants to go like full stupid and just bring everybody back and have them all fight Sukuna at the end. I really wouldn't be that shocked. It wouldn't be the first time something like that happened. But there has to be a reason that Ui Ui is like corpse snatching. Kusakabe to Maki. You don't have curse energy. Would you lose against Sukuna? Nah, I'd win. Yeah, that seems to be the case here, is that Sukuna, one chapter after the other, just keeps pissing off every fanbase. You think it's Urahime? That's a good point. Urahime could boost up Shoko, and they do make a point that Sukuna doesn't know what Urahime's technique is. But if Urahime is actually like that clutch in saving everybody. Her CT was recently changed. Was it? I didn't hear about this. Do elaborate. If they separate Megumi from Sukuna, does Sukuna keep his OG body? I think I'm missing something. You know, something I was thinking recently is that that's an excellent point, that if Sukuna does get separated from Megumi, where the hell is this guy going to go? And some people are thinking he might just merge with the merger creature and like take over it or something. That's a little out there for me personally. But we know that Tengen, like, you know, the merger is just that. It's a merger. Her CT description was recently changed. Interesting. I'll have to look up at that. Take a look at that later. Actually, we'll take a look at it now. Urahime. Curse technique. Interesting. Yeah, it could be Urahime. I think it's going to be a pretty simple answer regardless of what it is. All right, but bro, they gotta get Ijichi piggybacking on someone like Milorion and Hunter x Hunter to conceal their presence. Yeah, that would be an option, or you just send in Maki. Could he be in Yuta? Is Sukuna going to take over Yuta? I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be anything too out there. That's the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen, is that where it goes is like usually the simplest answer. Gege doesn't do like super out of the box things usually. Like the answers to what's going on is like it's a barrier change. Oh, like how does Gojo and Sukuna's barrier interact? Well, Sukuna just attacks the outside. Like, as fun as it is to cook up crazy theories and like just go like all the way to reach as far as you can, I think generally the answer is right in front of you in Jujutsu Kaisen. Why did that idiot Hikari say they would win? Does he not know what happened to the last person who said that? It's a good point. Yeah, I'm kind of happy personally that Sukuna is finally going to reveal whatever he has, because like the Avatar, when he enters the Avatar state, when Sukuna actually stops holding back, when he actually uses everything he has, he's also at the highest risk of dying. At least, you know, maybe not in story, but like in plot. Because of the one finger he ate. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if the one finger is going to be enough to like bring back Sukuna. Like, do we really want a Sukuna one finger as like the final villain? Quirkless, a few words on Urame, please. Oh, Urame is giving Hikari the fight of his life. Honestly, I don't know what is going on here with why they had to do it this way. Like, does Gege just hate Hikari compared to Yuta? But they have him like fighting the bum sidekick. Okay, well, I mean, Urame's not a bum, but like the way they portray Urame getting gut punched the moment Gojo comes back makes them feel like way weaker than they are. I guess it's just a Gojo effect. I'll put it in here. Right here. Let's get back to the chat here. Quirkless, give me your reason for why Yuta is over Kenjaku. Yuta bodied every single one of his cursed spirits. I mean, I do think Kenjaku versus Yuta. That's a pretty hefty question, Plank. It's a pretty hefty question. I do think Yuta wins, but I think it'd be a hard fight. Maybe I'll make a video on it one day. Maybe. The problem with Kenjaku is that Kenjaku kind of got killed before he got to do anything interesting. He had like the one fight against Yuki, and that's about it. Quirkless, why didn't Maki go for the head? Yuta took the slash to get her the opening. She fumbled. Well, I mean, if we're going to be super pedantic, a stab is usually faster than the slash. But also, I think it's because Gege Akatame wanted to show Sukuna getting like the same position that Gojo got stabbed in. Every character is getting cope. Can we get some Junpei cope? Does Junpei even have fans? Isn't he got hippified? There's no cope for getting hippified. Like, once you're a hippo in Jujutsu Kaisen, you are a hippo. And that is like the one truth. That is the true death in JJK. You are more likely to die from hippification than a Jacob's Ladder or a Hollow Purple. Kenjaku isn't dead. I mean, that's pretty crazy to say after he got stabbed in the head. Like, there is no death in Jujutsu Kaisen that is more guaranteed than Idol Transfiguration, it seems. Like, once your soul changes, you are just boned. Do you subscribe to these theories that say Sukuna will win? No way. No. So, I mean, he might win the fight, but, like, the actual series, no. At best, the closest thing to a Sukuna victory we might ever see would be, like, Sukuna turns, has, like, a heart change or something like that. But even then, Sukuna turning good sounds ridiculous. And what's up, Tiberius? Yeah, the thing about a villain victory in Jujutsu Kaisen is that no Shonen Jump series almost ever lets the villains win. And it doesn't even make sense within the story. Like, the character arcs of people like Yuji, their payoff lies in beating Sukuna, or at least convincing Sukuna he is incorrect. So a Sukuna victory, I just don't see as a real possibility. I had an aneurysm listening to your hippification spiel. Thanks. No problem. That's why I'm here. And for those of you who are wondering if I'm going to be making a chapter review, I will. I have my top Oompa Loompas on it. They are working overtime. Do you not have a Discord server? I don't. I do not. Not right now. I feel like they gotta kill Sukuna now. If he wins the fight and gets to fully recover, then they certainly won't win. Yeah, Sukuna recovering now would be... That's pretty much the end. Like, I don't know how you defeat Sukuna with a World Slash when he's at 100%. But then again, he might just be so busted now that he can already win. It's hard to tell. It is hard to tell. The thing with Sukuna is that we don't know what he actually has. Like, we don't know what this Fuga box is. For all we know, the Fuga box could be so busted that he could have just won the entire time, or it might be so weak that it's just going to be like, it might just be barely enough to beat the people he's currently fighting. But the way Urame makes it sound is that, like, Sukuna had a trump card the whole time. But we will have to wait and see. Let's see, what did you say here, Catchdog? How will Megumi stay relevant in the fight? And Megumi has a few options. First of all, the totality of Maharaga, that is, like, guaranteed to be busted if he ever gets that. And there's also the completed Chimera Shadow Garden. He has been inside of Sukuna for over a month, longer than any character. If he's picked up anything, he has been soaked in 20 finger Sukuna cursed energy for longer than any character. Well, he's the only character that's been soaked in 20 fingers. So if Yuji got a power-up, I wouldn't be surprised if Megumi did. Let me drink my water here before I answer this question. Plank asks, what power-ups in base do you think Hikari deserves to be relevant as a heavy hitter? I mean, is Hikari ever really in base? Does that even matter? I'm sure his reinforcement's good. Give a guess on who will die next. Probably Maki. But if they didn't kill Yuta, I don't think they're going to kill Maki. If I'm being honest. Wait, hold up. Has Megumi been in Sukuna longer than Yuji was? Sukuna's been in direct control longer than Yuji was. there was a time skip between Goodwill. So I guess you could say that like Sukuna was inside of Yuji for a dramatically longer period of time overall, but as far as like 15 fingers and 20 fingers Sukuna is concerned, Megumi has basically been in the pit for an entire month. Yuji only had 15 fingers in him for like what, 2 or 3 weeks in between the culling games, versus Megumi's had this whole month. Is the mic low? Let's up that. Maybe it's better now. Igege wasn't creative enough to write Yuta versus Kenjaku. I don't think that's true, Plank. I think he definitely could have. Shouldn't Sukuna still have Max Elephant? I mean, he should, but I think he's just given up on using 10 Shadows, because really, why would he use 10 Shadows? Is our mic... I'm getting a lot of peaking here. Let me know if the mic quality is getting too loud, guys. Proof of what, Plank? Yuji only had 15 fingers in him. Okay, well, when I say that Yuji only had 15 fingers in him, Catch Dog, is that Yuji had 15 finger Sukuna for like 2 weeks, and Megumi's had like the full thing for like at least a week. Like from the looks of it, we had like this whole time skip, so we don't know when Sukuna actually consumed the 20 fingers, or the last 5, 4 in a body if you want to be precise. 10 Shadows still might have the Tiger. I think the Tiger got nuked with Agito. Like, if 10 Shadows comes back, I'm imagining it's going to be as one super Shikigami. Okay. Crookless, since Yuji is like a cursed object, will Jacob's Ladder kill him? That's an interesting thing to talk about, actually. Maybe, but Jacob's Ladder doesn't kill jack shit in the series. Pretty much never works properly. Like, and the only reason it even operates on Sukuna is because he is like this cursed spirit thing, or like, you know, the cursed object. Not a cursed spirit, excuse me. The wheel is still there. No, asked Kyubi. Mage Kyubi. No, the wheel is gone. At least for now. Unless there's like a totality. Ui teleportation is broken. True. Ui out here with a safety blanket to like capture everybody. Fanbase would lose it if Sukuna broke out the Maharaga totality. I'm hoping the Maharaga totality is reserved for Megumi. Do you think Sukuna will hit a Black Flash and restore his output like Gojo? And if so, when do you think it will happen? I think Sukuna is definitely going to hit a Black Flash. I think that much is pretty clear. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. But as far as restoring Sukuna's output, it really depends what like this whole open box thing is, because the way Urame makes it sound is that Sukuna's like his cursed energy fluctuating is because he's just vibing. That's how she makes it sound, which is ridiculous, but we'll have to see. Sukuna is stronger than all but like the most die-hard wanking Sukuna fans could have ever dreamed him to be. That's what it feels like. Like, you could, not even in my wildest dreams could I have found, like, if you asked me to wank Sukuna and asked me, like, how strong would he be if he was, like, ridiculously OP, would I ever come up with him being as broken as he actually turned out to be? If Hikari gets domain amplification, will he be on a similar level to Yuta? The gap between them is huge. I don't know how huge the gap is. I don't know where Urame is in relation to the Sukuna that Yuta fought. She really only scales to Hikari right now and Choso, but after the past month, maybe she got stronger, or maybe it's inconsistent. Kaio Breeze and I talked about this a little bit, that like Urame being frightened of a piercing blood in Shibuya makes no sense if she's like fighting a heavy hitter now, but we'll see. I said Sukuna is the strongest from the beginning and argued Gojo fanboys. I mean, I always thought Sukuna was going to be stronger. I didn't think he was going to be this stronger. Or, like, excuse me, that was not proper English. I didn't think he was going to be this strong. Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, this confirms to me that Gojo was probably right when he said he couldn't have beaten Hei and Ero Sukuna. We'll see. But yeah, that seems to be the case. I mean, okay, when you talk Calamity, when you say all the JJK YouTubers really thought the side character Gojo was the strongest, there's a third part, there's a fourth wall aspect to this, is that Gojo is just the most popular character, and as much of a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen as JJK YouTubers all are, and they're all great people, at least all the ones I've met, there is inevitably, you're going to make videos about the most popular character in the series you cover. So Gojo getting gassed, it just makes the most sense. Like, why wouldn't you, as a YouTuber, talk about Gojo all the time? With Sukuna's condition being not that bad, did Gojo's chances of coming back increase? Honestly, Endless, I think they did. I am slowly being indoctrinated into like the greatest copium group, where if you just brought everybody back to fight Sukuna, I'm here for it. Like, if that's how busted Gege wants to make him, that he is just so wildly overpowered you need everybody, including Gojo, to fight him, I'd rather Gojo be present than just get like bodied in his fight. Gojo is such a fraud for saying he would win and died giving Sukuna a one-shot technique. That is pretty rough. He did kind of just give him like the kill you technique, didn't he? Heavy Weather, what's up, man? Actually, Heavy Weather, let me make you a mod, because I know you cook too much on Twitter to not be my mod. As moderator. Gege had me waiting months for 2 panels of exposition. If the Hikari fight gets off-screen, we can have some problems. I'm sorry, Heavy. It looks like Hikari is getting shafted. It really does. You'll drop JJK if Gojo comes back? I mean, that's reasonable. It would be kind of silly if he just, like, popped back in. But I feel like Gege Akatame is very slowly creeping towards bringing, like, something ridiculous is going to happen. That's what it feels like. Like, something totally out of the box. And the way they have all the characters, like, we cheated, and we're going to come back, or, like, Ui Ui is capturing bodies. Like, it's so strange. It is so wildly strange that it makes me think that JJK might just descend into goofiness at times. Because the potential for stupid always exists, guys. Like, a story can get dumb at any time. It never stops. The chance never goes away. Why not just resurrect Kashimo and Ryu as well? That could be hype. I mean, I'd love to see Ryu again, but, like, Ryu didn't get captured by Ui Ui. It doesn't look like Kashimo did either. Out of Sukuna's box. That's a funny pun, Trevor Wallace. Take my like. If I could like comments here. They're making a Franken Gojo. Actually, they're making a Mecha Gojo. They're going to make a Supreme Ultra Gojudaruma. They're just waiting for, like, the parts to come in. It was Mechamaru's last gift. Would World Slash work on Jackpot Hikari? I mean, it would chop him in half, but the question is, could he grow back from it? And honestly, if any character in Jujutsu Kaisen is going to grow back from being chopped in half, it's Hikari and Jackpot. On some post-Pain arc Total Resurrection. Yeah. Yeah, guys, anime is no stranger to having ridiculous character resurrections happen, especially in shonen, though I think the whole Pain arc resurrection was one of the most anticlimactic undoings I've ever seen in an anime, because that kind of pissed me off, because you had so many great character endings, and they're like, if Kakashi had died right in the Pain arc, I would have been satisfied personally. Maybe that's a rare opinion. I don't know what the opinions on the Pain arc are, to be honest. I don't follow Naruto content that much. Is Takaba alive? Yeah, I think he's just chilling. I think Gege told him he has to, like, hang out. To be fair, the fake Yuji death was Gojo's idea. That's true, and thank you for the super chat, Les. I don't think I was talking about that, though. I don't know when I mentioned the Yuji death. Maybe I'm just going senile. That panel where Maki throws Sukuna like she got thrown by Toji. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got Toji versus Sukuna here. And you kind of got the answer that Toji's going to gonna get mopped, but still cool to see. Sukuna is Gilgamesh from Fate inspired. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Ui back to his kidnapping antics. Pain arc, widely regarded as probably one of the best Naruto arcs, to be honest. I agree. I think it is one of the best arcs. I just don't like them all being brought back at the end. That's the only part I'm like, eh. Quirkless, is Go stronger than Joe? Potentially. I mean, Go does have the 6 eyes. Joe just has like legs to run on. Would World Slash work on Japakari? Already answered this. Do you think Kenjaku's Tengen / humanity curse is a big / huge one, or a humanoid form with ideals and stuff? I hope it's humanoid. That's where I'm at. But let me get back into some of the chapter discussion here, because there was something I wanted to talk about in particular. Is that they said they were going to bring Choso into that little domain. Well, not so little, but into Yuta's domain. Are they high? Did they not see what happened to him? He got blitzed in one shot. It was ridiculous. It's ridiculous for them to say we're going to bring Choso in. And Choso comes over to Yuji in this chapter, and he's like, oh, Yuji Itadori, you need to take a breath. Remember what you were caught. Visualize it. And remember how to do the flowing red scale. I need to teach you this before I die. Because Choso, if anyone's going to die, Choso just feels like a character that's going to get bodied. That's how I feel. Joe got the 6 feet. Yep. Go has the 6 eyes. Joe has, mobility. Choso has good healing capabilities, though. It does make me wonder if Yuji learned RCT by, reverse engineering blood manipulation or something. Or, if it's a similar strategy. Because we know that generating RCT, it is basically just putting the two negatives together to create a positive. But I wonder if circulating it through your body is similar to blood manipulation. Choso fully healed that donut blow. He gonna be alright. Oh, he's alright. He's definitely okay. But the question is, why would you ever send him back in? Blood manipulation fully realized might be crazy RCT as well. Yeah, if you can use your blood manip on top of your RCT in some way, that'd be pretty interesting. And there's something else I want to talk about here, which is at the end. So Sukuna is looking awfully Yuji-like in the last panel, where he has the flaming eyes, like Demon Yuji when he fought the Grasshopper. I'm really hoping we get a reveal here. I'm really hoping that Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't just end as oh, Yuji was a dude who fought the guy and they had a ideological conflict and it ended. I hope there's a major plot twist here. I pray. I mean, Yuji just needs to gobble Choso and he's complete. That's a monstrous take. Often. What do you got against Choso? Choso would die for Yuji, so he probably forced his way back to the fight. I'm sure he did. When he got double donutted, I didn't think he was going to die, but it definitely put into perspective where he is on the list here. Now, what do we think about Maki being able to see slashes as well as Maharaga? That is crazy to me. Let me get a poll here. Let me end this poll. First of all, let's ask, do we think, will Hikari defeat Urame? I think he will. He better. If he gets done in by, the second in command. That'd be pretty rough. Let me read this super chat. Super chat from I Am Total Trash. That's quite the self-deprecating name, my friend. Crazy theory. Gojo will return, but Sakurana and Gojo will meet in Yuji's innate domain for the final fight. I'm assuming you meant Sukuna there. Yeah. Oh, actually, you just reminded me. I completely forgot. This chapter confirms that Sukuna did not know the outline of his soul up until he was inside Yuji, which is crazy to think about. But it took the being a vessel for him to finally understand the outline of his soul. At least that's what is implied here. Which begs the question, what the hell his little, like, I'm going to follow you into the afterlife thing is. Hold on. But Gojo with the 6 eyes couldn't see the world slash coming. Yeah, that seems to be the point. That seems to be what they're saying here. I mean, Maki's the only one that we've seen, and that and Kashimo, because Kashimo had, like, that ultra X-ray vision. It seems that everybody can, like, sense these slashes to some degree, but only Maki and, like, Maharaga had this really profound ability to be able to tell where they're coming from. And you'd think Gojo could. You'd think he could, but given what he actually did in the fight, he did kind of just get chopped in half, so I guess he couldn't see it that well. Do you think Yuji can see the slashes? I mean, it seems like I said, it seems like everybody can kind of tell they're coming. At least enough to, like, put your arms up. But actually dodging them, only Maki's done that. I mean, I know some people think Kashimo did, but Maki in this chapter, like, dead-ass ducked. Granted, she does kind of have, like, a precognition where other sorcerers don't. Her power set's a little different. Maki can sense changes in the atmosphere. It's no surprise. Exactly, Plank. Like, Maki's power set is a little different. She doesn't really have to sense the spark. She's more so, like, just that hyper-aware of her surroundings. Sukuna's slashes are invisible, though. Yeah, but their impact on the world isn't. And that is what Maki notices. And that's what we saw against Naoya. Like, she doesn't really see things. I mean, she can see curse spirits with her heavenly restriction now that it's full. But the way she interacts with the world, she feels like... It's like Daredevil. It's like the best way I could put it. Granted, Daredevil was blind and she can actually see stuff, but still. It's Jujutsu Daredevil. Sukuna hasn't gone all out. Yeah, that's a crazy statement, isn't it, guys? That's an insane statement. That he's still been vibing this whole time. Corkle Shinobi, what do you think Yuji's grade is right now? I think Yuji's special grade. I do. Okay, we're gonna have a long conversation about this now, because what is a special grade? It's someone that can conquer a nation, okay, but, like, what's the metric for conquering a nation? Like, what are they going to send at Yuji that's going to kill him in a nation? Like, really? Nothing. Like, maybe a nuclear bomb could take him out. But even then, taking down an individual as fast as Yuji, as tanky as Yuji with, like, a tank or something would be very difficult. You need, like, howitzers. You would need... It's hard. And I don't even agree with the whole special grade thing. I know some people might disagree with me on this, and that's fine. It really depends on where you sit on, like, what does it mean to be special grade, because as far as I'm concerned, like, the whole definition of, oh, they can conquer a nation, Yuji can definitely conquer Madagascar, okay? So if you can conquer Madagascar, by that metric, you are, in fact, a special grade. Nowhere did it ever say, Kenjaku wasn't like, as long as you can conquer a first world nation, a world superpower, you are a special grade. That wasn't the metric he gave. At least not the one I remember reading. I wonder what the waiter from season 1 is doing. Hopefully he left Japan, given his survival instinct. Quirkless, Urame doesn't seem to have a domain. Your thoughts? I mean, even if she does, or even if he or she does, Urame is just going to lose a tug of war against Akari. That's how they make it sound. Why hasn't Sukuna poured all his cursed energy into performing RCT like Teen Gojo did? Isn't Sukuna the best cursed energy user besides Gojo? Well, the way it makes it sound in this chapter, the way they talk about Sukuna in this chapter, is that Sukuna is just so strong he can fuck around and find out because he doesn't have to care. Because healing himself, living without a heart, it's all effortless for him. Like, why didn't Sukuna do something is a question a lot of people have had, myself included. But the more we get into it, it might just be that he is so strong that he doesn't have to. Because from this chapter, the way Sukuna says, like, talks to Maki, Maki's like, oh, you can, like, are you going to do that with your heart the whole time? He's like, yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't. I'm not breaking a sweat. And then Urame is like, oh, his cursed energy waves aren't even him going all out. He doesn't care. I don't know if I like that explanation that much. But it seems to be that Gege's trying to say, like, oh, Sukuna has yet to, like, give it his all, which is kind of in line with a lot of the other statements in these fights. But 30 chapters of Sukuna vibing, I don't know how I feel about that. Sukuna is just an evil Goku. That's kind of what it feels like sometimes. But I mean, Goku's way stronger than Sukuna. But I get the idea. The battle master, the battle mentality. Gege's beloved Sukuna. That is what it feels like. But I mean, it is kind of Sukuna Kaisen right now. I can't lie. Like, after this chapter, yeah, it's a crazy statement, guys. I can't deny that saying Sukuna has yet to go all out at all. Like, the narrator, dead-ass a fraud, an absolute liar. Like, saying, like, oh, he's felt the height of tension. Oh, it's a desperate gamble. Like, is it really? Are you lying to us, Gege? Because this doesn't sound like a desperate gamble if he's been vibing. Like, there better be an explanation for this. The fact he got pushed more in the Heian era is crazy. Yeah, the disrespect from Urame towards Gojo, saying the fact you could not present us with anyone greater than Gojo Satoru, you should be ashamed. Like, first of all, you got gut punched and launched by that guy, so I don't know if you're the one who should deliver that information. But yeah, I'm curious. I really hope the reveal of Sukuna's true power and whatever he has in store really recontextualizes the fight, because that's kind of what it has to do. Like, it has to recontextualize what Sukuna was doing in the rest of the fight, because if we look back at what he was doing, it needs to make sense. It has to. That's the whole point. That's what it needs to do, and if it doesn't do that, I'm going to be a little annoyed. I'll still read it. The narrator is more than likely just talking about Sukuna after Gojo's death. That's definitely possible, Catch Dog. It could be a post-story character. I've seen that theory a few times. But man, yeah, the Sukuna glazing. The Sukuna glazing at the end of this chapter. I mean, of course it's coming from Urame. But the way they make it sound that you know that even if Sukuna... excuse me. She says, if his interest in his opponent is tenuous, so too will be the waves of his cursed energy. And it's just such a... That is a line. That's one of the lines of all time. You're like, okay, so you can't even tell from his output if he's interested unless you know him. It's ridiculous. So I'm kind of hoping. I'm hoping for a good reveal, because the box has been set up for 100 chapters. Gojo would be trash in the golden era, apparently. That's kind of what she makes it sound like. That's ridiculous. Like, the nerve to say that. Sukuna feels nervous for the first time in 1,000 years. It's such a load of BS now. Yeah, the narrator, I don't know what the narrator's smoking. But we'll see. Maybe it wasn't. We'll have to see what the reveal is, because it could all change. Everything could make more sense next chapter. It wouldn't be the first time that people have brought up that Jujutsu Kaisen's narrator could be unreliable. There are a few times where, like, the narrator will ask a question for the characters and be like, oh, how does Maharaga's adaptation do? Like, what does Maharaga's adaptation do? Or there are a few cases. You know, sometimes it seems more accurate than others. That's what I'm trying to say. Sukuna is just a big question mark. Yeah, that's why I'm not power scaling him until it's all over. Like, anybody power scaling Sukuna now, it's like, just wait. Just wait to see what he actually has. Like, once his fight is over, that's when I want to take a look at him. Urame right, Fraudjo is a fraud. I mean, Gojo did a pretty good job. Did better than these guys. In Gojo's defense, Gojo is 28. Okay, this guy's at least 40, and Gojo probably finished high school. I doubt Sukuna ever went to high school. Just saying. We take the W's we can get. Yeah, Sukuna's not 1,000 years old, though. He lived for 30 and went to sleep for 970 years. Honestly, Sukuna, I'd give him a solid 38, maybe 40. He's looking a little old. Got some wrinkles. Hikari better have some hidden skill to beat Hikari. Interesting sentence. How strong Sukuna is doesn't really matter because without the Maharaga, how can Sukuna even do damage to Gojo? I mean, if he's strong enough, he just bodies him in the domain. There are so many ways. It really depends how strong he is. We don't know what he has. For all we know, he has something that could already bypass. Because the way Urame makes it sound is that Sukuna has been chillin'. And he's been vibing. To what extent, we'll have to see. We'll probably get a massive Sukuna reveal next chapter. Oh yeah, certainly. Six Eyes were kind of underwhelming. Gojo's whole kit was kind of underwhelming, if I'm being honest. Except for the Unlimited Void. Even then, though, Unlimited Void kind of got recovered from pretty quickly. Do people count the 1,000 years as experience if you really slept all the time? I don't. I know some people say he was bored in there. But at that point, you're digging pretty deep to get a Sukuna W. Sukuna seems like the guy that died of old age, unfulfilled and bitter before turning to fingers. A headcanon, of course. Yeah, he does seem pretty bitter. Definitely has a chip on his shoulder. Limitless is a boring CT. I don't think Limitless is a boring CT. I do think it's a pretty wank CT. It's good. It's definitely good, but there are ways past it if you're on the user's level. The character's power set that got shafted the most was definitely Yuki. I mean, Yuki got to pull off a black hole plank. It seems interesting that Gojo said, "I'm glad I didn't die of old age." Yeah. It's a curious line. Wouldn't World Slash in Sukuna's domain be too overpowered? I'm sure a lot of things in Sukuna's domain would be too overpowered. It depends. We don't know what a full... it's hard. It is hard, Dino. When we're talking about Sukuna here, is that the Sukuna that's been fighting has he just finished up, got done with another fight. He hasn't revealed his actual technique or whatever the box is, and he's been spamming this World Slash while apparently not caring. So trying to figure out what Sukuna can or can't do when he's apparently not trying. Sukuna's technique has got to be Jujutsu Kaisen quirkless. I found it all out. So the slashes are pen markings, the fire arrow. The slashes are pen markings. The fire arrow is a burning the paper, so it's an instant kill, and the roll cut is an eraser. Yeah, he's the writer. It's the writing technique. Would Gege write Sukuna cutting the planet in half? I sure hope not, Catchdog. Everyone got something for their ability, but Gege didn't try with Yuki. Theoretically, she could make herself invulnerable, light speed, and turn Garuda into a black hole instead. I think she said... Well, the mass only goes up to a certain point. And, how heavy would she be at that point? It's a virtual mass, and it doesn't affect her normally up until a certain point for her to make the black hole, which is really strange. It is a strange bit of dialogue, where it's if she, there has to be a gap between the point she turns into a black hole and when it starts affecting her, unless it only starts affecting her once she is at a mass amount that would equate a black hole, or forming a black hole. Yeah, Yuki's technique's good. But all curse techniques do have limits, so Just because something's theoretically possible in like actual physics doesn't mean a curse technique is able to do the same thing. I just want to see Sukuna fight Tengen / the Humanity Curse and see Sukuna get bodied. At this rate, Barracks, Sukuna might just body the Humanity Curse with how it's going. Like it started to look like Sukuna is gonna be the world savior in some people's minds, where like he's gonna fight the merger creature. He's gonna have a change of heart, and he's gonna Dr. Octopus the merger creature, and like drown it in the river. Everyone thinks they can write the power system better than the writer that created it. I kind of agree. I do agree, okay, that it is a lot easier to point out, oh, this is a flaw, than it is to fix the flaw as a writer. Like, just because you point out the flaw in a story, or you're like, oh, I don't like this part of it, isn't you saying I could write it better. Maybe it is for some people, but not for me. Like, I would never claim to be able to write better than Gege Akutami, just because I don't like some parts of their story. Because I can't. Sukuna really the hero. Yeah, dude, they're gonna have Dr. Octopus. He's gonna go up to Yuji and be like, "You were brilliant but lazy," or I guess it would be Megumi, and then he'll take down the whole thing. That's the end. Sign it. Do you think a character who died or was injured in the battle will come back and fight Sukuna again? It kind of seems that way. A little bit. It's hard to tell. It depends how dumb Gege Akutami feels like going. Like, them all coming back to fight Sukuna, I would definitely read it. I don't know if I would like it. Like, the explanation would have to be pretty good. And at this point, whatever explanation they give for, like, all the characters coming back, I don't know if I would agree with it. Like, it would feel a little out there. Especially for Jujutsu Kaisen, where characters die all the time and never come back. I mean, if Kenjaku's dead, I don't know what Gege was thinking. I mean, Kenjaku, he's a good character. He kind of fit his purpose. Like, Sukuna is now in the spotlight. We'll see, though. I mean, him getting stabbed in the head is pretty game over for him, in my opinion. How do you think Megumi will be free without Sukuna dead? That is the big question, isn't it? How will Sukuna get out of Megumi's body and survive? I would say the most basic ending that Gege Akutami could come up for Jujutsu Kaisen right now. Like, this is the one that, like, everything's set up for it already, where you have everybody fight Sukuna. Sukuna opens up this box. He starts bodying people. Yuji manages to bring back Megumi, and Megumi dies for all of them, the same way Yuji died for Megumi in, like, Chapter 9 or Chapter 8. I don't know if I'd like that ending, but it seems like that'd be a pretty easy route to go. Tostado has joined the Prequels Sorcerers. Thank you very much, Tostado. Always appreciate the support. How Maki is reflecting Sukuna's slashes. I don't think she reflected them. I think she just, like, ducked under. Let me take a look here. Either that or she is cutting through them. But did she cut through them at one point here? Kind of looks like I mean, that is weird if she actually starts cutting through them. What did you guys think about the artwork in like the one panel? I gotta be honest. As much as I love Gege Akutami and their art usually, there was like one page in this chapter. You're like, this is a napkin drawing. Like, it's still a better napkin drawing than anything I could do. Like, there is like the one where they're like, our best shot, our best and worst case scenario, where like Yuta's getting chopped in half. It looks like a scribble. At least maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. I know some people get like really defensive of the artwork for an author, and like rightfully so. It's not easy drawing every week. I'm not saying I could do better, but it looked pretty goofy. What if Yuji saves Megumi from Sukuna, but Sukuna makes the merger body his own? That's what, yeah, it's an ongoing theory. It's a pretty big one. I mean, it is called the merger. He should be able to merge with it, and if anyone's gonna take over like the merger creature and then like make a humanoid form for himself, it would be him. Gege just seems really burnt out, to be honest. I think they are, and I think it's pretty reasonable to be burnt out. Like, you're 252 chapters deep into your Shonen Jump series. What author isn't burnt by that point? That explains the constant breaks as well. This chapter was rough to read. Yeah, there was some... The artwork this chapter was a little weird in some places, but then, like, it was only, like, the first half. I don't know what was going on. Maybe Gege was just really, really busy those couple pages. And they're like, I gotta get this done. But the thing with Jujutsu Kaisen is Jujutsu Kaisen is usually carried by its story. You don't always have to have, like, god-tier artwork. I think another case of that would be Attack on Titan, where Attack on Titan's artwork is like dead ass bad. Okay, it does not look professional. It looks good. Like, it looks better than a complete nobody author, but as far as Isayama is concerned, even he admits like his artwork wasn't amazing. Great story though, and that's really all it has to be. That's kind of the fundamental of a good story, right? It's like books have been a thing for longer than comic books and literature. Well, I guess comic books. I guess, paintings have also been a thing for thousands of years, but you get what I'm saying. Oda doesn't get burnt. That is true. Attack on Titan art bad. Have you read Mob Psycho? Yeah, but like Mob Psycho is like one. I don't even count one. One like legitimately draws on a napkin with his webcomics. I guess Mob Psycho is in a webcomic, but you know what I mean. Let me look up the art for this. I'm curious. You've piqued my interest. Yeah, this seems more stylized. That's the thing. Like, Mob Psycho is supposed to be like kind of in the nature of one's art. But yeah, I don't think one ever claimed to be a good artist. I don't know if he actually does the artwork for Mob Psycho though. Do you feel kind of tired with the constant action going on? I did, but only because whatever the characters did, I found it really hard to get invested in because Sukuna still had this open box, but now that is being revealed. I am not too worried about it. Like, I'm a lot more interested now because now Sukuna is going to go all out. He actually has a chance of losing. Because prior to this, during the entire Gojo versus Sukuna fight, it's like until you see the fire arrow, it's like the likelihood of Sukuna dying is so low that I found it really hard to care at times. Where I'm like, and I said this in a video months ago, where I was like, even if Gojo pulled out like the ultra purple, rainbow purple, and just blasted Sukuna with it, as long as like the box is hidden, Sukuna's gonna live because it's just an ass pull waiting to happen, or it's just a get out of jail free card waiting to happen. One animated on season 1, episode 12. Of Mob Psycho 100. Interesting. I like the AOT art. I don't think okay, let me backtrack on my AOT art statements. I don't think AOT has like the worst art. I don't think it's like straight up. I shouldn't say it's bad. That might be a little bit hyperbolic. I should say it's below. I think it's below industry standards for a lot of the other artists, especially for like a non-weekly series. And I think Isayama definitely improved. But, at the end of the day, AOT got like the best anime adaptation they could have ever asked for. So, kind of lucked out on that. And also, Jujutsu Kaisen has an incredible anime adaptation. So even if you have like mid art, getting your god tier anime adaptation, it's like, who cares at that point? AOT art is beautiful. Do people really like AOT art? Maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am. Alright, if you like AOT art, maybe it's just me. I know Super Eye Patch Wolf, or who was it? Was it Super Eye Patch Wolf, or definitely not Mark? It was definitely not Mark. who said the AOT art got a lot better. I love Bleach art, but I don't like the story. Bleach has really cool stuff in it. I think Bleach doesn't have the most cohesive story ever. I don't really know how to put my finger on it. A lot of Bleach feels a little bland at times to me. But like, as cool as it is, as much as I like the side characters, I feel like sometimes they just aren't given enough interesting stuff to do. I know a lot of people have like varying opinions on Bleach. Bleach is easily the most divisive of the three major Shonen Jump series, at least at the time, big three. Quirkless, have you watched Rent a Girlfriend? I have not. I don't actually watch too much anime. To be honest, I mostly read manga. I used to watch a lot more than I do now. Kubo is the king for Shonen Jump character designs, in my opinion. Kubo is a phenomenal artist. He really is. He has some clean artwork. So who was Sukuna supposed to eat again? It's still up in the air. It said he's going to eat somebody to death. And a lot of people, when I said that in my video, they said, oh, Sukuna already ate Tengen. But in the case of Tengen is still alive. They're just a curse swim thing. Or whatever the hell is going on with that. Who is going to be Sukuna's next meal? Probably not Yuta, because he just got teleported. Maybe Maki. It's a big question, though. Who is Sukuna going to eat is one of the questions in Jujutsu Kaisen. I missed JJK Season 1 animation. JJK Season 1 animation did feel a lot more standard than what Mappa went for in their second season, if that makes any sense. But here, speaking of JJK, let's pull back. What do we think about Flowing Red Scale? Let me end this poll. Seems that most people think Hikari will beat Urame. Good. Let's start the poll. Will Yuji use Flowing Red Scale? And after that, I'll pull out a poll to see if people think he'll use a domain expansion. And I don't know if Yuji will use a domain expansion, to be honest. But if he does use a domain expansion, it being blood manipulation related wouldn't be that crazy to me. More consistent, but Season 2 has more highs, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I think Season 2 had, I would say, after, like, from Gojo fighting in the subway of Shibuya to Sukuna's fight with Maharaga, it was pure peak. It was great. And my hottest take for Season 2 is I don't really care for Mahito that much as, like, a villain. Like, he's fine. But I'm never too interested, especially in, like, the initial fight. I like him a lot more when he goes into, like, his awakened form. But, like, the first battle, I just feel like I'm watching somebody fight a flood from Halo. Yuji isn't advanced enough, it seems, to use it. Yeah. I mean, maybe. He has RCT, and more characters have I mean, domain expansions are more common than RCT. Actually, are they? I'd have to do like a number count on that one. Red Scale is gross. Blood is gross. That's rough because you have it. To be fair, that's because it was the best arc in JJK. I mean, that's true, but it also had like the best animation in the season. Dude, Berserk mode of Flowing Red Scale with RCT. Yeah, Flowing Red Scale Yuji. I know Six was saying he wants to see Flowing Red Scale, and I agree. JJK loves ending characters before their potential, unlike One Piece. I mean, a lot of the characters in JJK, like, I don't know if the story necessarily benefits from characters like reaching their full power potential. Like JJK has a lot of side characters, but when it comes to the important characters in the story, it's really like Yuji, Megumi, Gojo, Kenjaku, and Sukuna for like 99% of it. The other characters definitely help, but if Yuji's technique is just blood manipulation, I'm gonna be fuming. Oh, I doubt it. I mean, it could just be blood manipulation now, but as far as like Sukuna's about to pop off. Yuji has to fight Sukuna. Like, they have to have a confrontation, like a true confrontation here. And I know he already put the hands on him, but correct me. I'm curious what other people think on this. We've seen Yuji fight Sukuna now. They are throwing hands with each other, but it's not the same as witnessing like the climactic emotional combat between them. Like, something's missing here. We aren't quite there yet. It feels like we're digging a little, like we're digging closer. We're almost there. God, these are my water. Talk for an hour and my voice becomes hoarse. Will Megumi pull a black Zetsu and kill Sukuna and then become evil? I don't think Megumi will become evil. I don't think Megumi's done anything to like point towards him being evil. Because it wasn't a 1v1. Missing talking, yeah. They talked a bit, and like it seems like we are in the preliminary battle before Yuji and Sukuna truly go blow for blow. And I think that's what people want to see. Like, whatever is cooking with Yuji, whatever wild stuff went on with his birth, his creation by Kenjaku, that's one of the biggest plot points in JJK. If anyone can ass pull themselves a victory against Sukuna, it would be him. What if Yuji was part of the merger? Couldn't he control it to fight Sukuna? Maybe. He might be the vessel for the merger. We'll see. Another thought I had recently was, for the merger to occur, all the characters have to die except for Megumi and Geto. And, you know, Geto's kind of dead, but, you know, like, all the characters have to die except for these two. So if Ui is out here snagging bodies and these characters are going on, like, are dying one by one, maybe the merger will pop off and then they'll come back. I'm not entirely sure. It really does seem like characters are going to start jumping back in. Well, Yuji is still too weak. He needs to die first. Yeah, maybe he will die and come back. We'll see. In a similar way, because they did say Sukuna experienced death before and then came back. Didn't Kusakabe retcon that statement? I don't think he retconned the part they all have to die. He just said that, let me take a look. He just said they might be able to survive the merger if it does occur. I don't know if they're aware. Let me check. It was pretty close. It was like chapter 245. He talked about this. I'll have to reread it later. My browser is not loading. Okay. Did Geto hold Yuji in higher regard than Sukuna for potential? I don't think he held him in higher regard. I think he held them as like an equal potential. He wants them to coincide with each other, so I doubt you're going to make somebody that's going to be like blatantly stronger than the other one. Sukuna fans making a video after seeing that he's been holding back. Yuta getting cut in half despite having teamwork shows that Sukuna is correct. Oh, let me reread this. Sukuna fans making a video after seeing that he's being holding back. Yuta getting cut in half despite having teamwork shows that Sukuna is correct. Kind of. I mean, Sukuna's ideology is wrong. Like, on a base level. Like, maybe it's right, and, like, yeah, you can do what you want if you're strong, but, like, are you a good person? Is that, like, really what you want to build a society on? Not particularly. It kind of sucks to live in for, like, 99% of people. But thank you for the super chat, Mobius. That's the thing where it's like, yeah, you get what you want if you're powerful, but The society all these people live in wasn't exactly built on people like Sukuna. Like, Sukuna doesn't get food if he goes around killing everybody. Nobody's going to want to make any infrastructure in a world where some guy's going to, like, malevolent shrine half your city. So because they took Yuta away, that makes me think that Shoko got training with RCT and is being boosted by Urahime. Basically, Gojo coming back confirmed. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm slowly being indoctrinated. I said this earlier, that if Gojo does come back at this point, with how overpowered Sukuna is turning out to be, having them all come back and fight him, it's not totally outside the box at this point. I don't think Sukuna is trying to build a society. No, he's not, but he's trying to say that, like, oh man, like, this is how everyone's ideology should be, but if everybody's ideology is Sukuna's, the world sucks. It sucks for Sukuna. Like, you need people. Like, you need, like, empathy is a benefit. And I really think that's the main point of Jujutsu Kaisen, is like, Sukuna has to be proven wrong. That having empathy, living internally for yourself and externally for others, and like having an empathy for them, that is important. And like, that's a pretty big message in Shonen Jump in general, that caring about other people, you know, Shonen Jump at the end of the day is for young guys. And I don't think Gege Akatame is out here trying to like preach to the teenagers of Japan that they should all grow four arms and embrace nihilism. Megumi gonna be the one to teach Sukuna about love? Maybe. I think it's gonna be Yuji, or both of them. Sukuna's like, it's been working for me so far. Yeah, Sukuna is... He is an interesting character. He is extremely bitter, but he also has that, he has almost deluded himself into thinking, like, this is the only way that he can enjoy himself in life. And I think that's why it's very curious to see him starting to realize, oh, maybe finding satisfaction in other people is worthwhile, and you don't just have to ignore everybody. Shonen Jump equals power of friendship. And maybe on like the most basic level, yeah, but that's kind of the point, right? Like, there's a reason people keep coming back to like the same archetype, is because it's usually satisfying. It is usually satisfying. Like, people like to see heroes win. Like, not every single story has to be... What's a more recent example? Like Dune. It doesn't have to be Frank Herbert's Dune, where everything goes to shit when the characters get what they want. Like, there's a time and place for multiple archetypes, and I think Shonen archetype is a pretty fun one, even if it occasionally becomes very predictable. Maybe Sukuna has a sad backstory like Naruto. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not with like the same music Naruto played, because I don't know if you guys remember that every time Naruto played, like, anything mildly sad happened in Naruto, that goddamn flute just came out every single time. And they're like, this is the most depressing thing that's ever happened. Like, every child in the Leaf Village that like had even like a slightly bad childhood was like cripplingly depressed. Like, they were all on Zoloft, I swear to God. Let's see. Even seinen series have positive messages in them. That's a great point. You gotta dig for a nihilistic series. Yeah, most authors don't want to delve into pure nihilism, and the ones that do, I think there was a book, I think it was a light novel, with a ton of drug use in it. It was called like Welcome to the NHK, about some guy who was like the biggest NEET of all time, or like hikikomori is what they call them in Japan. And the whole story is basically about this guy like trying to desperately get out of his situation of like feeling trapped in his house and like having nothing in life that he wanted to do. And even then, that one had a pretty positive message. Did bro just spoil Dune? No, we're not spoiling Dune. I'm sorry, if you're getting spoiled by a 60-year-old book. How old is Dune now? Yeah, like 60 years old. When did the first Dune book come out? It's been a long time since I read it. Yeah, 1965. Damn. That is some old sci-fi. Has Toji been upscaled now? Oh yeah, we always any opportunity to upscale Toji, we take immediately with no questions asked. Would you prefer a Toji backstory as a prequel or a Heian era prequel? Definitely a Heian era prequel. As much as I like Toji, there's just a lot more to learn from a Heian era prequel than there is from a Toji one. Like we know where Toji's story ends. We know where Toji we know most of the people that Toji interacted with, and we know where they end. In the Heian era, you could follow so many characters. You get such a better view on how Jujutsu started, or like the peak era of Jujutsu. Just because it's old doesn't mean we all read it yet. We ain't 60. I mean, that's true. That's true, but I ain't spoiling Dune. Don't worry. I'll try to keep it vague here. Potential man going to be the one to make Sukuna go all out. There are a lot of potential men. Which one? Which one, man? Which potential men are we talking about? Because one of them got chopped in half. Actually, two of them got chopped in half. Did Yuta get chopped in half this chapter? It's kind of hard to tell with the napkin artwork. But it looks like Rika was like carrying off two parts of Yuta a little bit. He definitely got cut right through. It's a little strange. He got carted off by like his Monster Hunter Palocat. In terms of power scaling, Toji really went from Jogo level to Maharaga / Mythic Beast Kashima level. I don't know. I've seen a lot of really upset people who are like, he's not comparing her to Maharaga. He's comparing her ability to see cursed energy, like these slashes, to Maharaga. But it's like, I mean, yeah, that's true. But he does call it like it's like fighting Maharaga to some degree. Let me reread here. Either way, I think people get a little too pedantic when it comes to like, it's mainly Sukuna fans, it seems, recently. Yeah, she can see my technique much better than the other sorcerers, just like my fight with Maharaga in Shibuya. I don't think he's calling her Maharaga, but if you really want to upscale her there, I don't think most people are going to disagree. Like, let's be real. Not everybody is so deep into power scaling they give a singular shit that Toji is not actually equal to 15 fingers. Like, yeah, anyone who's like really deep into the series can tell you that. But for the most part, if you look anywhere in the fandom for any series, 90% of people are just there to enjoy it. And if they want to wank him up there and have fun with that, who cares? Like, there's not, like, if someone's wrong about power scaling every single time in their life, it legitimately does not matter. Because it's like it is the least important part of a series usually. Rika crying was kind of sad. That it was. Though it's still fun to argue about. It's definitely fun to argue about power scaling. Because it's a fun thought experiment. Yuta also isn't equal to 15 fingers. Yeah, Yuta does get one shot. That is true. I mean, them saying that Ryu had higher durability than Yuta and Yuji pretty much gives you the idea of what happens when Sukuna decides to cut you in half. Toji is going to come back in solo. I'm sure that is the thought process of Toji fans ever since Shibuya. Of like the most diehard. Sukuna been interested in Megumi from the start. Megumi gonna push him to go all out. I mean, it looks like he's about to go all out now, doesn't it? Like, that last panel is looking pretty fire. He's looking pretty angry. And Urame's just sitting there spitting. But maybe chill on the Gojo slander after he gut punched you. Just saying. So Sukuna actually touched Ryu's face, right? Yeah, it looks like he touched him and then just like chopped through his whole brain. Man, that goddamn goof. Ryu just went down there. Like, he was shitting himself, and then he's like, why don't I go down there anyways? Such a stupid decision. It's honestly one of the dumbest decisions I've seen, because he was clearly afraid of Sukuna. and he still went in. I had to pull that before. Yeah, what a bozo, man. Let's pull up the king of bozos here. As much as I like Ryu, like it's hard to be mad that he died when he kind of did it to himself. Like nobody forced him to go down there and eat it. Ryu got that dog in him. He definitely did not have that dog in him playing because usually those people win or at least live. He kind of just like he just went in. And even Sukuna was like a little shocked, like, are you gonna like scram or what, dude? Like he didn't want to kill him. It's like the hand of God told Ryu, you have to job. We'll glaze you later, I swear. You'll get glazed harder than you've ever been glazed. Ryu stood on business though, dude. Oh yeah, definitely. Was the plan for Yuta to get sliced in half? That was definitely not the plan, and Kusakabe says as much this chapter, where he says, this is our best and worst case scenario, where they got the sneak attack off, but Yuta also got taken out. So the sneak attack went off, but they didn't plan for the chopping happening. The chopping in half. Excuse me. Ryu got more balls than most. Takes a real man to face your fears. Yeah. And then he died. Which is pretty rough. It's almost like Ryu only went down so that Gege had a jobber. It's true. That's all he did. So that was his pure purpose in life. He was there to hype up Sukuna, so Gojo had to come back. So what do you think was the cheat boost for the rest of the team? In this case, I've talked about this a little bit. It could have been Urahime. It could have been a binding vow. A more insane theory is the more insane theories are things like the prison realm and time travel. And I pray to God it's not time travel. Time travel is so hard to do well in the story. Another one would be the Dido, like the hyperbolic time chamber. Well, not the hyperbolic time chamber, but the awakening that Maki felt. But even then, it looks like Maki got stronger too. Maybe she's the same. It's kind of hard to tell with her. Gojo did say he had some things to do. And we still have yet to have the flashback of that. Which is really irritating to me that we didn't get the flashback for like all the stuff that Gojo was doing in the past month. We're still waiting for it. It's Yuta over and soon going to be Maki over. Yeah, Sukuna is coming for every fan base. There's not that many left. Every 3 weeks, Sukuna kills another character, and he has their fan base like picking up pieces on Twitter to defend them at all costs, to make their corpse look better. It's quite a feat. Yuji needs to pull a Gon in order to win if the merger doesn't emerge. That is what it feels like. In the panel where Ui Ui pops in, it looks like Rika is holding Yuta together, to be honest. That's what I thought. It does look like she's kind of like crumpling him up to like stitch him up later. He got pretty, but granted, it is hard to tell because the artwork in that scene is like literally scribbles. It's like the worst art in the entire chapter. And it's the one I'm the most curious about. Like, what even is this, dude? I'm looking at it right now. Like, Yuta, I can't even tell if that was, like, you did not tell me that was Yuta. I would have no way of knowing beyond it being Rika carrying him. Yuji needs to pull a gun Yeah, he needs like the cursed energy bullet. He needs like the supernatural kill anything gun. Here's some good Yuta cope. He'll come back with fully manifested Rika and hold him down with Kenjaku's gravity technique. Can you imagine how savage it would be if he ate Kenjaku before he left? He just had Rika like eat a chunk. It would be the smart play. She doesn't want to risk dying. Can't blame her. What if Maharaga ends up fighting the Great Merger? Lol, not even Sukuna could beat that version of Maharaga. Yeah, if Maharaga... What would Maharaga's adaptation against the Merger creature even look like? I guess it depends if the Merger creature even has like a curse technique. Art will be fixed in the volume release for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Alright guys, I'm gonna slow down here because my Oompa Loompas are calling me. They say I have to get to work on my chapter review here pretty soon. So I'm gonna answer a few more questions and then we're going to end the stream for now. Honestly, Yuta body hopping into Gojo really the only way they can win. That or them waking up Megumi. That seems to be like the easiest way out of this, is just wake up Megumi and have Sukuna eat it. Godzilla-sized Maho. I think Gege is going to end the series with a lot of unanswered questions. Agreed. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen has to answer all the questions, but it does feel like it is rapidly approaching that point where some things are just going to be left to the wayside because they're not that important. And Gege Akatame doesn't really care to talk about like the side character's curse technique. Pretty sure Maharaga is gone. I mean, Maharaga is gone, but the actual totality... That should come out. Why is the art like that this chapter? Gege's just busy. I mean, they're a person at the end of the day. They aren't a machine. Not everybody brings their 100% every single day. Y'all got no faith in the kids. I mean... Urame said it best. Like, if Gojo was the best they've got... They're kind of screwed. I always have faith in Yuji, but like only because Yuji has the Kenjaku factor to him. Like he is not exactly a natural sorcerer from the sounds of it. Gege doesn't have to answer all the questions, but there's a ton of details he's just decided to leave out. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I agree. It does seem like Gege does want to wrap up some things. Like they're very hyper focused on the main plot right now. What is flowing red scale? It's part of blood manipulation. It's like the one thing Shoso used. Let me find you the exact definition for flowing red scale. According to the Jujutsu Kaisen wiki, that is usually questionable. It's the blood manipulation allows the user to control all aspects of their own blood composition using flowing red scale. The user can increase their body temperature, pulse rate, and number of red blood cells to give themselves greatly increased energy and physical capabilities. Enhanced strength and speed granted by flowing red scale can be used to boost the user's capabilities in hand-to-hand combat. So it sounds like the best use for Yuji, because flowing red scale just fits the most with his stuff. Rabbit Dog Man, thank you for the super chat. It says, thanks for the stream. Fan of you and Jaded, most out of the primary JJK channels. Oh, I appreciate that a lot. And speaking of Jaded's coming out with a new video pretty soon that he was talking to me about. So look forward to that too. I think he was going to have like Yuta fighting a country or something. Jujutsu Kaisen has essentially turned into Black Clover. I don't read Black Clover. I saw like the screaming Asta memes, and that was about it. Red Scale was the last style Choso used when he bodied him in the bathroom on the last exchange. Exactly. All right. On that note, guys, thank you all for showing up. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the super chats that were given. And I must say, generally, thank you for supporting me at all. That's all I've got. I never know how to end these, but take it easy, guys. I'll see you in the next one.